In this world, everyone is born with a rank of stars, 1 star being the lowest and 7 stars being the highest. Famisha, her dickhead father and bitch mother left her to die because she was a 0-star tamer. But her life changed after she tamed an F-rank slime, which was actually an SS-rank slime in disguise. The story begins with this dickhead carving a doll. As he hears a baby cry, he happily goes inside his house, where the maid informs him that he has a healthy girl. He and his bitch wife are very happy, and they decide to name her Famisha. She likes her name and giggles. Time passes quickly, and 4 years go by. Famisha's father is building their new house when she brings him food. They have their meal together with her big brother. While eating, Famisha chokes on her bread, and her father uses magic to summon water for her to drink. Her brother tells Famisha to eat slowly, but she cheekily replies that she has to eat more or her melons won't grow, which makes her father laugh. At night when she returned home, her mother welcomed her with a warm smile and she went to set the table. Her brother tauntingly said she shouldn't be such a loser, that she needed to learn using everyday magic. Her mother defended her, saying there was no need to rush as everyone learns at their own pace. This made her big sister jealous, and she complained that this was not how she was treated when she was a kid, adding that the youngest always gets special treatment. Despite this, she was a very happy kid and everyone loved her. Then the decisive day came. She went to the church to test her skills once she turned 5 years old. The Pope, after using his skill, revealed that Famisha had the class of a tamer. However, when he tried to check her stars, it was revealed she had 0 stars. Seeing this, the Pope gave Famisha a disgusting stare, saying she was disgusting, and left. Confused about what to do, she went home. Her father was furious, saying he and his wife had stars, as did each of their children, so how could Famisha be born starless? He was so furious he even broke her favorite toy, which he had made himself. Famisha's mother tried to calm him down, only to get scolded heavily, with him saying he didn't think Famisha was even his child. This left her crying. When Famisha tried to calm her mother down, her brother grabbed her hand and started dragging her. She tried to call her big sister, but she also turned her head and gave a disgusting glare. Her brother beat her and threw her outside the house, telling her to get out of their sight. But the harassment didn't stop there. As she went outside, the news of her being 0-star spread throughout the village, and everyone started to criticize her, saying she didn't deserve to live. Kids started throwing rocks at her, making her bleed, which made her run out of the village crying in pain. Without having any home to return to, she wandered in the forest for hours, even in heavy rain. Then she found a cave where she took shelter and tried to light a fire using fire magic, but she failed. After trying a few times, her vision blurred and she fainted. After a while, as she opened her eyes, she was greeted by the old hag. She was a 1-star fortune-telling skill, the village's oldest and most respected person. She was here because she knew Famisha would end up like this, as she saw it in her vision when she visited Famisha when she was 2 years old. She was the one who gave her the love of a mother, taught her everything about this world, how to read and write, all about basic survival, even gave her a magic 3rd-dimensional bag, and a magic book where one can find everything about this world. But then the old hag stopped visiting her for a few days, which made Famisha worried, so she went back to the village to check what happened. Her whole world turned upside down when she heard the old hag died. But this was not the end. Everyone in the village started to blame Famisha for the death of the old hag, saying she was cursed, but it didn't end there. Even her own father said to the village chief that the starless shouldn't be allowed to exist in this world and she should die. This was enough to break every fiber of her mentality. After then, the village chief gathered everyone and explained the situation, and everyone went to find and kill Famisha. And from that day, she went on her own journey of hiding and fleeing from the skills she learned. After that, in the jungle, she hung several cooking utensils in trees so that she would know if anyone came near her area. To make a living, she used to go to the dumping ground every day to find anything useful. From there, she picked up used, expired potions, cooking utensils, and other used clothes. But one day, while she was picking garbage, some men came to that area. She got scared and hid beside the bin, and found out they were tamers, and the slimes were eating the garbage. They were saying they had to find Famisha very soon, as she had short legs, so she couldn't have gone far. She once again started running for her life. While running, she found a beautiful pond and decided to take a good bath, as she hadn't bathed for many days. She took all her clothes off, took a good dive, and enjoyed the cold water. Then as she was sitting, wait, what angel is this? I know what you're thinking, you dirty minders. Sitting all soaked up, she decided to cut her hair and dress like a boy. As she didn't have big melons, this would be possible. She decided to go with the name Ivy. It is the name of a plant which grows back even after being stepped on over and over. After that, she once again started to move forward, and on her way she came to a green field. There, she heard a mysterious sound and stopped. At first, she thought the sound came from a water droplet, but after close inspection, she realized it was a small, cute little slime monster. Curious, she immediately took her book and started searching about it. But even after searching for a while, she didn't find out anything and thought maybe this slime was not recorded. But then she found it. It was written that this slime had no name and was called the weakest slime. Reading this, she thought this slime was the same as her, the weakest of their race. Just then, a light gust of wind blew. The little slime bounced on 3 grass leaves with rolling eyes and fell on the ground. Ivy realized this slime was really weak. Then she continued to read, realizing this slime was so weak that it could disappear with just a poke, and even if the wind blew too hard, it would disappear. Realizing how weak the slime really was, she got worried and thought if she tried to pick the slime from the ground, would it disappear? She decided to pick the slime, who was upside down, to correct his position. She gently corrected its position and continued to read the book. It was written that the lifespan of the slime was recorded to be a maximum of 1 day. As the lifespan is so small, the ability and origin are still unknown. Just then, a strong gust of wind blew, and it blew the slime further. This startled Ivy. She immediately ran to save her, and as the slime was about to fall into the river, Ivy barely saved it. The slime was very happy. After saving the slime, she placed it on the ground and wondered if, left alone, the slime would definitely die with just a little gust of wind. So she decided to spend the night with it, saying she would stay awake the entire night and guard the slime so that it could live more than 24 hours. But at night, she fell asleep. The morning came, and as she opened her eyes, she panicked as the slime was nowhere to be found. She searched everywhere and started crying, saying she, for once, started not feeling lonely, but now she was lonely again. However, she somehow pulled herself together and decided to move forward. Then she brought out a world map that she had found in the garbage. But to her surprise, as she unpacked the map, the slime was sleeping inside it. Seeing it, she got really happy, saying that everything written in the book was a lie, as the slime was alive even after 1 day. Then she opened the book to learn how to tame a monster. She first started chanting everything written in the book and placed her hand on the slime's head. The slime started shining, meaning the taming was going smoothly. The book said to give the slime a name. She, after observing the slime's blue color, decided to give it the name Sora, meaning blue sky. After a while, a blue magic crystal appeared on the slime's head, and the taming was successful. She gently held the slime in her hand, saying they both are the weakest, and she is very happy to have the slime by her side. But is that slime really the weakest? We will find out. After that, she laid a trap to catch a mountain mouse and was successful. Then, she carefully butchered the rat and gently packed it onto a banana leaf, which the old hag had taught her, and placed it in her bag. After that, she took out her map, saying the old hag had told her to go to the capital. But the capital was so far that it was not even recorded on this map. So, she decided to go near a village close to the capital and get a new map of the capital. Just then, a gust of wind once again blew Sora. But Ivy caught her in time and wondered if Sora would ever grow stronger because there was no information available, as Sora was so rare. Just then, she noticed a noise which scared her, and she started running. While running, a tree branch scratched her cheek, but she continued to run. Inside the forest, she climbed onto a tree. We see a swarm of giant ants followed with red, deadly eyes. They glared at the scared Ivy, but the ants couldn't climb trees, so Ivy was safe. She read about this in the book the witch gave her, which once again saved her life. As the ants left, relieved Ivy took Sora out but was surprised, thinking Sora seemed to have gotten a little heavier and bigger, but she thought she must be imagining it. She took out expired blue potions. She used multiple potions because they were expired. And finally, after using 5 bottles, her wound healed. But she was confused, as she had more than 5 potions and wondered if she dropped them somewhere. And Sora just bounced like he did nothing. After that, Ivy followed the raw road to reach the village, but on her way, she noticed something. There were wanted posters of her everywhere. She couldn't believe her father went that far just to kill her. But she said she is Ivy, not Famisha, so not to worry. With that, she continued to move forward, and finally, after a tough journey, she reached the village. As she entered the village, she noticed everyone was using magic, even for basic tasks, from water to clean clothes, to create fire, to break bread, and she got sad thinking she can't even use basic magic for everyday use. As she walked forward, she noticed a bakery and got hungry because it had been months since she ate any bread. But because she had no money, she couldn't buy it. Then she noticed a butchery store and thought of selling the mountain rat. But she was hesitant of getting caught that she is Femisha. She circled the store multiple times when the store owner noticed and shouted, addressing Ivy as a boy, asking what he needed. This eased Ivy's worry, and she explained she was here to sell something. The owner immediately recognized she had mountain rats to sell because he had a 2-star smelling skill, and Ivy got impressed. Then she showed him the mountain rat, which impressed the store owner. He complimented her on how beautifully she butchered the rat and kept it fresh, and asked if she had a high-level butchery skill, but Ivy kept silent. Then the owner gave Ivy 10 bronze coins in return for 10 mountain mice, and jokingly said the 10 bronze coins were like 10 million gold coins. Ivy, so innocent, thought she really received 10 million gold. Then she happily went to the bakery store to buy her favorite bread, and when paying, she gave 2 bronze coins, saying, "Here are 2 million gold coins," and asked if this would be enough. This made the store owner laugh into tears because of how innocent and pure-hearted Ivy was. Then, she happily sat on a tree to enjoy her bread. She gave half of her bread to Sora and started eating. She noticed Sora was not eating. Normal slimes only eat organic things, but Sora was different. The weird thing was a tamer, and their tamed monster can communicate. But Ivy, even after trying, couldn't, so she thought since she was a 0-star, she might not be able to. The next day, she once again caught many mountain rats and was happy to sell them and buy bread. When she noticed a dumping ground, she happily ran to find something useful. There, she noticed a pile of potions. She picked up a blue expired potion whose color turned black and was giving off a foul smell, but she decided to keep it, saying it might come in useful. Then she started to arrange the red, green, and blue potions separately, and Sora watched her with greedy eyes. Then suddenly, Sora jumped on the potions and started absorbing them. This startled Ivy, and she wondered if Sora could absorb inorganic things, but only high-rank slimes can do that. Curious, she gave Sora a pot, but he refused to absorb it. Thinking Sora only liked potions, she gave Sora a green and red potion, but he didn't like them. Then she presented a blue potion, and Sora happily absorbed it. One by one, Sora started absorbing all the blue potions, which made Ivy shout not to eat all the blue potions. After that, her days went very peacefully. She used to sell all her meat to the butcher, and from that money, she bought bread and enjoyed it with Sora. She was very happy and wanted this moment to last forever. She said the villagers were all very kind, but she got worried, thinking they might also try to kill her if they find out she was a 0-star trash. However, she dismissed her thoughts and started enjoying her bread. Then, the next day, as she entered the village, she saw the men who were tasked to bring her to the village by the village chief. She got terrified, and the men, seeing Ivy's magic bag, jokingly asked what was inside that bag, and said Ivy to show them what was inside, which scared her to death. She ran, thinking, did they find out she is Femisha? While running, she passed through the butchery shop, and the owner stopped her, asking if she had any mountain mice. But before she could answer, she saw her poster on the man's store, which again scared her, and she ran without saying anything, confusing the store owner. Running, she came to the bakery store, and the woman stopped her, saying today she freshly baked her favorite sweet bread, and she baked a little too much, so she wanted to give her some for free. Ivy was in a hurry but stopped, but here also her poster was present on her store, which panicked her, and she ran from there. Running for the entire day, she was now sitting on top of a tree crying, saying this was such a nice village. Everyone was so nice to her, and now she has to leave this village. She took Sora out, hugged her, and started crying, asking if there was even a place for someone like her in the world. She spent the entire night crying on the tree, hugging Sora. The next day, with new determination, she started walking toward the capital through the jungle to not get caught by the guard. She was very hungry and regretted not taking the bread from the bakery lady. But then she heard the sound of water, and as she followed the sound, she found a river, meaning now she had water. Then she smelled a sweet smell, and to her surprise, there was a tree with juicy fruits in it. She got happy and started moving to pick some fruit, but Sora, for some reason, started shaking, trying to say something to her. But she thought Sora was also hungry. But as she came close to the tree, she got terrified. There was a decomposed man's hand popping out from the tree. Then the tree opened its mouth, and there was a dead, rotten man's body. She realized it was a tree monster in disguise. Then the tree threw the man out of its mouth and attacked Ivy with its branches. But Sora pushed her back and saved her from dying on the spot, although she got injured on her hand. Ivy picked Sora up and started running with all her might. Fortunately, she successfully ran away from the tree, but didn't realize her hand was injured. Her vision got blurry, and as she felt sharp pain, she realized her hand was bleeding heavily. She fell on the ground in pain. She thought of using a potion, but realized she fed all the blue healing potions to Sora. She was dying, bleeding heavily, when Sora suddenly jumped on her wounded hand. Seeing this, Ivy thought slimes are also monsters, and Sora was going to eat her now that she was dying. But she was happy. She didn't mind if it was Sora who eats her, but was Sora really eating her? We will find out in the next episode. This covered the latest episode. Goodbye.